Ryan Fitzpatrick was talking about C.J. Stroud and what the Houston Texans should be looking to do with C.J. Stroud as they, decide to pick up his fifth-year option. They can extend him. Do they trade him? What should the Texans do? But here's what Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's a former Texans quarterback, said about C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans.
It's Seattle. They've had a ton of talent on defense, but they haven't been afraid to continue to draft guys and put them in good positions on that defense and sign guys on that defense. And then last offseason, they signed Sam Darnold, and he's making $33 million a year. So right now you're sitting on that C.J. Stroud contract going, okay.
And they traded away Geno Smith.
Traded away DK Metcalf, right? I mean, I sit there and watch Houston play this year, and I'm thinking, okay, what's going to be better next year? Or maybe this happens in 2 years. Is it going to be better? Because you can't tell me that there aren't teams that are out there that would trade 2 first-round picks and some more things for C.J. Stroud. You're telling me the Arizona Cardinals wouldn't be interested in that, or the Jets, or the Dolphins, or the Steelers, or the Browns, or whoever it is. I just think if you're Nick Caserio right now with Houston, it's like, all right, so I can have Davis Mills at $7 million and a bunch more draft capital, or I could have no additional draft capital and CJ Stroud at $60+ million. I at least think there has to be a conversation about it, and I think he has to be thinking about that, watching Seattle do what they did and for their defense to really take them as far as they did and dominate in that Super Bowl.
I think there's a couple layers to this, though.
Question me up. What do you got?
I think that when he's talking, C.J. Stroud, C.J. Stroud at $55 million versus Davis Mills at $7 million makes a lot of sense. But is Davis Mills anywhere near what Sam Darnold is that would be able to take them over the top and be in the Super Bowl? I don't know about that. But when we just talk about C.J. Stroud, the quarterback, and he said there's plenty of teams that would be willing to offer 2 1s for C.J. Stroud. I don't know about that. Based on his last 2 seasons, if you were a GM, would you look at C.J. Stroud and say, yeah, here's my 1 this year, and here's my 1 next year, plus probably a little bit more in terms of draft capital if it's 3rd, 4th, whatever it is, rounders. Would you be comfortable giving that up for C.J. Stroud, seeing what you have the past 2 years? Oh, and you got to make a decision what's going to be over $30 million in his 5th-year option, and then the extension, which is going to be over $50 million. Would you be comfortable giving that up?
It's hard for me to quit on a guy, and I'm not quitting on Stroud anywhere. He's digressed. He's regressed. I digress, but he's regressed the last 2 years. First year, felt like he was brilliant every week after he got the shit kicked out of him the first 2 weeks with no offensive line, his rookie year. Then he kicked in and played better football in 1 year than he's played combined the last 2. Simple. That's simple. Now, you can give me, would you see the throw he made here or the play he made here? The spectacular can be there. He is a tremendous spinner of the football, especially intermediate, at least his rookie year. That's kind of gone down, the percentage of completion and his approach and how I think defenses feel they need to stop him. I think they've waned a little bit on thinking he's not going to take over this game. We're going to be fine if we pressure him a little bit, give him some looks. But he can throw the ball. He's a good player. He ain't $60 million a player. And to go back to what you're saying, Segs, do I think I know this, with that great-ass defense, as good as we saw all year long, and that's including Seattle with the Texans defense, is that C.J. Stroud and his performance in the postseason put them in a bind. And they would not have been in the postseason if Davis Mills doesn't play like a starter for 3. He played like a starter.
Very sure. Very true.
And remember when Mills got a lot of work in, but he only played like a dozen games as a starter in Stanford, so he still learned. Is Stroud better than Mills? Yes. Is Stroud $53 million better? The answer is absolutely not. And my philosophy is if you can get to the playoffs and neither one are taking you where you want to go, then I'll take my holdover until I find the guy that is going to take me where I want to go. Seattle. Geno, you tried it. You didn't have to pay him a lot. He rejuvenated his career, got to a really good spot, moved into the Raiders, and it was a wise move. Sam Darnold's better than Geno Smith at 33, 34, 35 million. So, Segs, for me, there's a couple things to this. No, I wouldn't give up 2 first-rounders for him. I'd give up a first, maybe a player, and a conditional third that can be a second if CJ comes and play 75% of the snaps or whatever. You see what I'm saying? I'm not automatically saying I'll give you 2 for that. I think we're going to start to guard against that.
Yeah.
One, you can't keep doing this unless we have a salary cap that's separate for quarterbacks. And hell no, he's not worth 60, but unfortunately you're worth, for some, if he gets it, great. I'm not in his wallet, but I'm putting myself as a GM or the betterment for the Texans football team or anybody else that takes it. For a first-round pick and a player, a first round and a third round, would I trade for him if I was the Miami Dolphins? Tomorrow, if that's what the offer was by the Texans. If I'm the Texans, what rush are you in to sign him? He's got 3 years in the league. He's now eligible to get an extension. But he can't go anywhere for 2 more years. Where's he going? I mean, you could trade him, but what, are you afraid of pissing him off? I don't understand the urgency. I just don't. Now we're in the show me. Minnesota should have tested Darnold in the show me and franchised him for 1 more year and then said, damn, he's done it 2 years in a row. We're keeping him. They didn't do that. They rolled the dice and they fucked it up, period. Mm-hmm. Now, 3 years from now, J.J. McCarthy may be great, but on the urgent, they screwed it up and Seattle benefited from it. Great defense he's talking about. Run the football efficiently. And then Darnold's proven he's not just some guy who does some good stuff sometimes. Sam Darnold's become one of the best players at the position in this league the last 2 years, period. Not the best. He's in the conversation of after you get through those first 5, the next 6 or 7, he's in that talk. So first off, why are we always in such a rush? Why did we rush Tua into this? Why did we rush? Why are we rushing 55, 60 plus $60+ million into a guy who's got 2 years on a contract? Where the fuck is CJ Stroud going? Nowhere. Well, we don't want him to be upset. Upset about what? 2 years in a row now. He's played average football some of the time, great football once in a while, and has been mid for the other 2 years and been hurt. And I'm a guy who banged the table for CJ Stroud after his rookie year thinking this guy's, and I still think he's a player, but he's gotten a little bit gun shy in the pocket six. He's not the same in a clean pocket as he was. He's just not. Now, that doesn't mean this is permanent. But what are the Texans, if you keep C.J. Stroud, what's the rush, Segs? Tell me one reason why I got to re-up him for $60 million now. Where's he going? He can't go anywhere. Well, I'm going to hold out. Okay, we won 3 games with you without you when you were hurt. Davis Mills is a great alternative, and he's also kind of takes away your negotiating power if you're C.J. Stroud. I can go win with him again. I can. I like C.J. Stroud. I think he's a good player. But what's the rush? I've never understood it. I don't know what I'm going all JB. I don't know. I didn't see JB's show, but I can just tell you from me, and I've ranted about this before. I wouldn't pay him that kind of money. I just wouldn't. And I'm a Stroud guy. I am a C.J. Stroud guy, okay? But I'm not guy enough to pay him 5 years at $60 million a year and guarantee 3/4 of it. I'm not doing that. And Fitz is right. I'm right about this. Why can't you just say, well, we're going to camp and he's going to prove it to us again this year? Why can't you do that and see if he's the rookie quarterback we saw or the last 2 years we saw? Because what's the excuse? They got players. They got to get a better offensive line. But he's got a defense that gets him the ball. He doesn't even have to score 4 touchdowns a week to win. Post 3 and a field goal, and you're going to win most of your damn games with that defense. So while I'm a Stroud, I believe in him, I'm not sold that he's going to dominate for the next 10 years and be a top 10 guy. I'm not. Now, after another year of him, you say, okay, that looks like the old guy's got himself back. I'm not in a rush if I'm the Texans. I would trade him. I don't think you can guarantee you get 2 first-round picks for him. No. But some of these teams will be desperate, and they may. My number one thing is, Stroud can come in as he's our starting quarterback unless somebody makes us an offer we can't refuse. I can win with Davis Mills. I don't know if I can win a Super Bowl, but I'm sure as shit in no rush to give a guy. We've seen the movie. ROI, most of the time you ain't getting your money back for that, Segs, especially when you do it prematurely. I ain't giving him an extension this offseason. And if he holds out, he'll get fined every single day, and eventually he'll come back because nobody has the balls at that position to miss out on certain money a whole year. They just don't for the most part. So I would make improvement. But if somebody makes me an offer, if all of a sudden Miami said we'll give you 2 first-rounders, I would ship him. I would absolutely do it. And Mills can hold it down until I find the next guy. We've proven that you can be a great quarterback and not win a Super Bowl, but great defenses always give you a chance to win a Super Bowl. They travel even better than a great quarterback does. Ask Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen about that.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting, discussion when you're talking about CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans and these next few years. Yeah, you hope with D'Amico Ryans this defense just stays elite for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, but that's not guaranteed. Players fall off, you lose players, injuries happen, stuff happens, and we know going into next year they're going to be a really damn good defense. But if you don't have the quarterback in place that can get you over that hump that we saw both the Texans and the Broncos not be able to get over, and now the Broncos lost Bo Nix, but their backup wasn't up for the challenge in the AFC Championship game, and they missed out on possible.
He was overwhelmed, just like Drake May was in the Super Bowl.
Exactly. So that you lost that chance at a Super Bowl, and every season is a chance at a Super Bowl. And if you don't take advantage of it when you have the top-ranked defense in the NFL, and you don't take advantage and get to the Super Bowl and possibly win it, that's a season lost for D'Amico Ryans. So that's where it's such an interesting, and I'm 100% with you that they should not pay him. Do not give him that extension. Pick up the 5th-year option. I looked it up. It's only like $27 million. So you've got him on his 4th-year rookie year deal this year, which isn't a ton. And then it's 26. So
and that puts you at the bottom of the league as a starting quarterback in salary segs on the option year.
But again, if you go this next season and CJ Stroud is just that same quarterback that just is not progressing at all and even maybe regressing a little bit, you are stuck with that $27 million in 2028. And that could hurt you moving forward. So there's a lot of layers to the CJ Stroud talk.
Another problem with that, Segs, is if, let's say you say we're not going to extend him right now, like I was suggesting, right?
Yeah.
And then he goes out and doesn't play well and you want to move him, you lose value with him and you're not going to get what you'd get. Because right now we're in the in-between phase, Segs. We're in the who is he?
Right.
Like I'm thinking, is he rookie CJ? Sometimes CJ the last 2 years and then sometimes not. I still may be able to milk a second first-round draft pick, like Fitz said, maybe, depending on the desperation of the team, like a Jets team that you're like, if you're Aaron Glenn, you're thinking, if I don't have a decent season, I'm getting fired, right? So that type of mentality and with the front office and working. So, and you are right and that window with defense is going to close, Six. I don't mean fully, but eventually the 2 corners are going to want bigger money. Lassiter and Sting. I know Stingley got paid.
Yeah.
So, but you can't pay 2 corners $300 million or whatever it is you're going to, or 200. You know what I mean?
That eventually, Will Anderson contract extension is coming quickly.
Well, what about Bullock, who's one of the best ball hawks in the league? Yep. Will Anderson. You start to look around at the guys who are going to want paid. We saw it. See, it happens to every defense. It's all about the team, but when it's time to get yours, you want to get yours. And Will Anderson, quite frankly, if you said, Sean, long term, who you want to pay more? Will Anderson's been more productive than CJ Stroud has in their deals. And with CJ, so you risk what if it's average, he loses value. If we move him, are we good enough if our defense is still this good for Davis Mills or somebody else to take us to that next level? But I am taking calls now, Segs, because if somebody did offer me 2.
Someone wants to overpay.
What about this? What if the first pick what would the Raiders have to have? I'm just using them as an example. I'd take him in Vegas, the Raiders, because I think he's a good player. I think there's things that he needs to do this offseason to get back to where he was. And maybe, it may be mental stuff, not as a football IQ, but just getting out of his own way because of the hits he's taken. That's part of the position. What's the first-round pick worth to the Raiders? That you get a guy who's been in the league, who you get a little cheaper. You'd probably have to re-up, but you don't have to right now. Let's say you traded for him. I don't look at Stroud and see he's Josh Allen right now. He's Lamar Jackson.
I wouldn't give up the first overall pick for CJ Stroud.
What about CJ Stroud? And therefore, would you give up the first pick for Stroud and the Texans' first pick? And then the Texans get the first pick of the draft?
Yeah, so I'm just thinking this out for the Raiders and okay, you get CJ Stroud. We don't know what he is. You said
another first round pick, which will be late, right?
And you get, about the 20th pick. I don't know exactly where they pick, but 22nd, something like that, for the first pick. I couldn't do it because the unknown of CJ Stroud. Plus, even if CJ Stroud is good, I'm in a great division. My roster isn't anywhere close to, even if you want to say the Chiefs are the third team, my roster isn't close to that. So CJ Stroud isn't making up that gap himself. And we have the Max Crosby where we got to pay him also, plus
and then you're going
CJ
to pay
Stroud.
CJ. If you make that trade, you're going to pay him.
If I'm the Raiders, I wouldn't do it.
Right.
I think the rookie contract of Fernando Mendoza is worth more than CJ Stroud and the 22nd pick, let's say.
And you don't think that CJ Stroud, that the gap between Stroud and Mendoza's best is going to be rookie contract to $60 million a year? And I get it. I'm just using them as an example. What is the value on CJ Stroud right now? In that tweener, there's some that still believe he's going to be a star in the league, and I get it. And there's going to be some that say, not for me, man. And those teams that Fitz named, Jets, Dolphins, Cleveland, teams that we've been taught, Raiders, teams that we talk about. What's the value for CJ Stroud? If he has another bad year, that value's going down. You ain't going to get it. You may not even get a first-round pick for him. That'll be the problem. Exactly. So this year is pivotal for a lot of reasons. I do know this. If I'm the general manager, I am shopping and listening, and I'm not extending him. And if I do extend him, I can't extend him $60 million a year. So I just can't do it. I'm sorry. And you can't win a Super Bowl with shitty quarterback play. We've seen that. So great defense travels better than quarterback play, because I could have a great quarterback, bad defense. My quarterback's not winning. We've seen it to get to the Super Bowl, and people come up short. Now, Spagnuolo's defense shows up. You got Mahomes and you got Andy Reid. Well, God bless you. You're going to be okay. But if you're talking about the better chance for the Texans to win is solid quarterback play, phenomenal defense, and really good special teams, as opposed to great quarterback play, shitty defense, and no offensive line. They still won't get there. They proved that already. So you got to find, is it worth $60 million to me to pay him to keep him? No. I think there's plenty of quarterbacks I can get less expensive that can get me 9 wins or 10 wins. Yeah. I do. Now, that doesn't mean I don't think Stroud's good, because I do. Stroud's got to prove it one more year before I'd even jump into $50 to $60 million. 30, pay him Darnold's money. That's about what he's worth right now.
Yeah.
And that $38 million. And Sam,
that.
Yep.